We are ready to secede from the week and call it a day. This is The Week That Was. I'm Simon Brown. My co-host is Giulietta Talevi, and joining us as we scamper through the wreckage, Sasfin Securities' David Shapiro, Vestact's bright Khumalo. First up, a classic piece of Fed speak, which either means we're cutting rates soon or we're not, depending on the mood.
We believe that our policy rate is likely at its peak for this tightening cycle. If the economy evolves broadly as expected, it will likely be appropriate to begin dialing back policy restraint at some point this year. But the economic outlook is uncertain, and ongoing progress toward our 2% objective for inflation is not assured. Reducing policy restraint too soon or too much could result in a reversal of progress we've seen in inflation and ultimately require even tighter policy to get inflation back to 2%. At the same time, reducing policy restraint too late or too little could unduly weaken economic activity.
Wasn't it Greenspan who said, if you understood me, I misspoke? I don't know what he's saying. The headlines were no imminent rate cuts, which could mean like still June.
But in the interviews that followed over the next 2 days.
The Senate, yeah. He said sometime this year, because he knows and understands the importance of, well, he doesn't want to make the mistake of leaving it too long before he starts cutting rates.
If he waits for December, my gold is going to be at like thousands of dollars.
Your gold.
And your Bitcoin.
And my Bitcoins are going to be at thousands of dollars.
Because it's the same thing these days.
Yes, let's talk about that, the convergence of gold and Bitcoin.
That's weird.
What's going on?
I thought they didn't like each other.
They don't.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's the same long-haired guy who, lives in his mom's basement, accumulating these things.
That's not true, because I got both, and I got no hair, and I don't live in a basement.
You had long hair at some point.
Then I cut it.
You were a gold bull and you had long hair. So
No, I am a gold bull,
right.
and I had long
I
hair.
haven't heard from anybody. Everybody seems to be very, very quiet
I think
around.
the gold bull's like aged out, which is a polite way of saying
I
that.
think you're dead right. I think they've slowly died. You probably find it. No, you're right. They've just aged and they've been taken over by the Bitcoin in Bitcoin ETFs.
So they're equivalent of the gold bulls, but our era, I guess.
And the Bitcoiners are stuck at Starbucks trying to pay with Bitcoin, so they can't leave.
But the point is that they seem to have that they seem to respond to different stimuli.
Yes.
So gold is a sort of a fear asset. Bitcoin is kind of a bullish risk-on trade. So why are both of them running?
No one knows.
Market's
But there's
confused.
one
Are they
market
running because
axiom.
they're running?
There's a market axiom. Never laugh at a profit.
Yes.
Okay. In other words, doesn't matter how they're making it, whatever they're doing.
I'll tell you what my first year economics lecturer used to tell me: demand is higher than supply.
That's also
There are more buyers than sellers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking around demand, did you guys see the Novo Nordisk Capital Markets Day yesterday? They're bringing a pill.
A pill version, but how many times do you have to take the pill? Because the problem
Daily.
is, well, that's the issue.
Hey, but like needles weekly, pills daily.
No,
like,
but there's a needle that you can take once a month. That's what MGen is working on. So I'm very bullish on MGen.
I'd never take anything that required an injection.
No, but
voluntarily.
once a month.
Still.
Once a month. I mean,
Why are you
at this
taking-
point, you're taking an injection twice a week. Why would I do that?
These
No.
drugs are not
I mean,
designed for you.
Not for me. Not for me. I'm just talking.
That's the problem, is that it's all the celebrities that are going for it, and the poor people with diabetes or obesity can't get to the chemist.
No, but there's two types. There's the Wegovy and there's the the version of it that's for type 2
Anyway,
diabetes.
we're buying the shares.
Yeah.
that's what matters.
You wouldn't be eating those. Also making news this week, the old nags are back in the two-horse race as Nikki Haley quits. Jacob and his loathsome henchmen do what they do best, act the victim and threaten violence. E-tolls, we don't actually know what to say anymore. Are they or aren't they? Gordon is going, and good riddance. The Cape Independence Party is about as big as a small wedding list and not nearly as fun. Canal Plus is inching up its offer, and the EFF's Naledi Chirwa is in the market for 2 overpriced gazebos and hopefully the dawning realization that her boss is a total fascist. But first, how do you know when your expectations are somewhere in the Mariana Trench of life? When you call GDP growth of 0.1% particularly encouraging. Which is what Khumalo Ntshavheni, our minister in the presidency, said this week. I mean,
Well,
GDP
yeah.
growth of 0.1% is not growth. And in fact, if you take it in population growth context, it's going backwards.
And it's not encouraging. As a South African that works in South Africa and lives in South Africa and has to deal with things here in South Africa like load shedding, etc., go down, the list
water,
of all the bad things. I don't want to be that guy anymore, but there's nothing encouraging here. Just go outside and look.
And then 0.1. Look, we avoided a technical recession. That is the only thing.
Yeah.
But when you look at it at the chart, you can't see the 0.1 because it's so tiny. It like misses.
I think the evidence is in the numbers that are coming out from all our companies.
Yeah.
When you go through them, you understand what's happening at ground level and how difficult it is to make a profit in this country. Yes, there be here and there, their companies are doing well, but overall, so much has to happen.
And it's actually astounding, really, that the ruling party on their manifesto, the first thing isn't, we will fix Eskom. We will fix it and we will not have load shedding anymore. It's not even in the, it's like down the list. And
Because they can't.
honestly, if you just do Eskom and Transnet, we will have GDP growth of probably 2%.
You're very optimistic because, right now we're struggling with water now.
Well, so that
We're
was the
still
other
stuck
thing.
in-
To David's point
Yes.
with
Yeah.
results, the trend that we've seen these results is that a lot of money being spent on interest. Well, that's higher rates for you. And everyone suddenly, I spoke with Bruce Strong this morning, Impact, and they're spending money on water.
Yes, 11 billion. The city of Joburg is 11 billion behind in terms of fixing their infrastructure for water. So now we have water shedding.
Yes. Well, what about
And we only have 10 hours worth of electricity per day. It's no longer now load shedding stage 5 or whatever you want to call it. It's infinity at this point.
just
You
no
have
water?
to have
no-
change here. You have to have a change of the people in charge. I love Justice Malala. I enjoy reading his column because he's down at the ground. And his current column about walking through Hammerskraal just exposes, the people in charge. And we have to change. You have to vote. And until we get new people at the top, these problems are going to persist. Now, I can't see anything changing.
Well, speaking
So
of,
don't buy their sheets, don't take their T-shirts, and
Or
don't-
take their T-shirts, have the bus day out, but don't vote for
don't
them.
vote for
yes,
them.
yes,
Yeah,
take the
there you
T-shirts.
are.
You always need
But-
things to clean windows. Speaking in the world of politics, you either go big or go home. Praveen Gordhan is doing the latter, as is Nikki Haley. Joe Biden has found his election swagger, and Trump. You saw some of Biden's
I
statement.
watched the whole one.
So did
I woke up
I had to
4:30
leave,
this
but
morning.
It was surprisingly
Very good.
Excellent. Top.
And the
we,
taxes, what was excellent there?
we Texas.
Oh, no, you
he's
need
right.
to. I'm
He's
sorry, you've got
absolutely
to
right.
start taxing your
No, you can't.
billionaires. You
Yeah.
cannot have a middle class that's
Yeah.
kind of continually crushed and the billionaires go off and,
But-
and live.
But how
Buffett
do you
was
want to tax them? I don't understand how you can tax someone
Tax rate
from
25%.
from unrealized gains.
Of course you can.
Unrealized gains.
Sure.
No, that's stupid.
well, you-
no, that's dog.
But then you realize it. Now you must
I'm
realize
sorry.
it.
No. When you
Says
realize
right
it,
stroking his Novo Nordisk
yeah, no,
stock.
exactly. When you
Using
realize the
video
gain,
stocks.
of course you can tax me. That can be higher. You choose the number. But
I think you've
unrealized
gotta-
gains,
no.
that's crazy.
Okay,
gotta
then I
go
give you the
into
option. So realized gains, we tax you 90%, or unrealized 20%, you choose.
Unrealized gains, it's fine. But not realized gains.
I think.
Okay, tax issues aside, so, I mean, it touches you in your studio. I didn't realize you were a sort of a
I'm an
secret
investor.
billionaire.
It's a tea
No.
thrower.
The Financial Times called it a fiery election speech
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
He was well
was
prepared,
good.
he was articulate, and his message was strong.
Yeah.
When you look at him and what he's saying, and really it's more a building type speech, and then you go to Trump, who's bent on vengeance, bent on hate, bent on destruction, and you look at it. For me, it was a fancy dress. I'm still trying to work out who the people in white were. Those were
That's
some
the Ku
people.
Klux Klan, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. They were mainly females,
Republicans.
mainly women. Yeah, I don't know. And then there was the woman with a mega cap, who looked like a
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
she's awful. But I think everybody else looked like they were extras at some kind of rodeo movie or something like that. The Republicans, they always remind me of a B-rate cowboy movie, and the extras in those shows.
I'm trying to figure out if you're a conservative or you're a Democrat. So what's
I'm a Democrat. Yeah.
The interesting dimension of this is Nikki Haley's departure from the race. For the conservative Republicans who don't like Trump may end up voting for Biden.
Yeah, Biden's going to win this. I'll call it now.
What?
You just
How
got to
much you
keep
wanna
him
put down?
alive. I must say, for 1 hour, I said to him, please don't stammer. Please don't stammer.
Please don't fall,
fall over.
don't
And
sleep.
then when he got off the podium, and started to walk, I said, just make sure someone's holding your hand. Don't slip now. Don't slip now. Phew, he
did
made
it all. He did it all. It was all totally absolutely fine.
Apparently he took a nap
And
before
then,
that,
and
so
then
makes
when
sense.
Trump has lost a second time to Biden, he's going to be the saddest man in the world because losing once is bad twice. Just quick thing on Gordon. He didn't quit. He was too far down the list. He wasn't going back to Parliament. Good
So,
riddance.
so that's your theory. But when someone says they're working on a relationship, usually it means it's towards the end of the relationship. So I don't know. He said he wants to spend more time with his family and take
His
care of his health. R.I.P. dog.
Yo, bus.
Have a sweetie pie.
Meanwhile, if you're a new mother in the EFF, that pro-worker party of unimpeachable ethics, and a hotline to the LVMH store manager, you can rob a bank, but woe betide that you miss a parliamentary session because your baby is sick. The penalty, 2 gazebos, which is a snip compared to the humiliation of having that Pol Pot wannabe as your boss. That is an illuminating exchange. Nadili Chirwa was forced to apologize for her absence from Parliament in a sort of
Quite a
real
stinging.
It was quite the undertone of that apology was, here I am, a new mother, I've got a sick child, I shouldn't be made to do this. And then Julius Malema coming out afterwards saying that wasn't an apology. But it just if you needed it, it displayed the ethics and the ethos of the EFF, which is
I don't even
it's
think
a
those
bullying
words apply to
organisation.
them. I don't think that's an oxymoron, so I don't even think it applies to them. So, yeah, the men in white, green, yellow, red.
Red.
Yo, David, pick a colour. Speaking to politics, it's our own Super Friday with electoral lists due, and no one's surprised. The Cape Independent Party has been shunned by everyone, except maybe a small enclave of Simontown people, with apologies to Simonstown. Of course, not my town, that Simonstown. But, I mean, between now and when we're recording, the lists will be out, and I'm going to make a prediction. Aside from Trump losing, the ANC is going to be full of crooks.
I mean, is it not full of crooks already?
But they're going to do renewal.
But they're going to go back to Parliament. Malusi Kigaba, Bathabile Dlamini.
The mayor from Durban, I forget her name.
Zandile Gumede,
Yes.
all the shining luminaries of moral rectitude.
Yeah, go vote, guys. Just go vote. This can't be our new South Africa.
Crooks 101, basically. What all the way down? Not turtles, crooks.
It's crooks all the way down. Wow. That
After
should be
the
the
break.
motto of the ANC.
Yes, it is, yeah. Moving, what is their motto? We will do more.
We
Stealing,
will loot more.
thieving, bad stuff. After the break, deals and sends galore.